All right, let's get this started. Did I turn that down enough? I think I did. Hello, good morning. It's happy Labor Day weekend. I'm under the weather. I'm not feeling good, but I said I'd do a show today, and I'm doing a show today. So a lot of it today is just going to be a hodgepodge of things that, well, just things that are trending in the news, things that happened over the weekend. But I haven't really opened a whole lot of tabs. We're just going to go down and see what's going on right now. I may or may not make this a short show. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm glad y'all showed up. That's awesome. That's great to see. So we'll do the thing. Because, yeah, that. Anyway. So, how about we get it started? Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dog Night.
All right. Stop the music. Good morning and happy Labor Day on the Morning Night Live. Nobody in my family's in labor. I saw the joke there. Advocatus Diabli. It's Monday, the 5th of September, Labor Day in the United States of America. So some of us get an extra day off, and I did. I actually got to sleep in today. We were at a wedding last night. The wedding that we thought was on Saturday. We showed up on Saturday, and the wedding was the next day. We looked at the names on they had a little thing, welcome, celebrants of this wedding of two names we didn't know. And we're like, oh shit, do we end up showing up a day early? Which we did. And so, is what it is. Anyway, I hope you all are having a good weekend. Those of you who are having a long weekend, I hope you're getting a chance to enjoy it. I'm supposed to be doing some grilling with my daughter, son-in-law, and the baby, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen today. Like I said, I'm not feeling good, and I don't want to get the baby sick. That'd be terrible. Especially since they just went through COVID and just got kind of out of that. So I'm going to, tell us about the fair. Did I get shot at? No, we'll talk about that though. That's pretty wild things going on at the Minnesota State Fair this year. They had to close down early Saturday night. We were there Friday night, but they had to close down early Saturday night because in the midway where all the rides and whatever, there was a fight, and then eventually someone got shot. And here's the thing. Our state fair already has metal detectors at all the ticketed entrances, right? They don't let it, they've been doing that for probably 10 years. However, it's very easy to sneak into the Minnesota State Fair. They have video of people climbing fences and jumping over and getting in because, it's $17 to park in the parking lot, which is not bad if you have a bunch of people, but it's going up to 17. It used to be 10 a couple years ago. And then it's another, I think, $17 for adults per ticket to get into the state fair, which is, you know what? I'll pay that every year because I like going to Minnesota State Fair. It's pretty fun. But it is easy. That's a pretty high price for some people, and they'll just sneak in. And you can sneak in all sorts of ways. There's people who climb fences. There are people who sneak in through the exhibitor entrances where they do not have the security that they have at the ticket entrances. And so someone did some shit, and they ended up closing. State Fair usually closes at midnight. Saturday night closed at 10:20. And then last night, it was supposed to close at midnight, and it closed at, it closed a regular time last night. But there were also some fights in the midway there, too. just shitbags gone wild, and it's just very disappointing because the Minnesota State Fair is usually it's the great Minnesota get together. People just go there to have fun, and it's this shit going on everywhere. You can't go anywhere without some fucking incident. Just pisses me off. But anyway, and I have a couple tweet threads on that. Maybe we'll see that when we get a chance. But anyway, let's say good morning to the people in the chat. Good morning, of course, is what I do. First in the chat today is Advocatus Tababli, who gets the bell. Oops, you got two bells. Also, good morning, Tyrannus Alexandrius Invictus Soul is in the house. Good morning, also Mike Savage, Blarg. Man Squadge is here. Good morning. Good morning, Jay Pylon. Good morning, Michael Hatfield. D.I. Freighter Watcher. My favorite Canadian, Year Capone. Let's see. Oh, that's okay. What's going on? Oh, Jethro Heder is here. Good morning, Infamous One, Simon Wolfwood, Rotten Corpse, Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning to Jimmy Das Hotep, Maniac Man. K-Show's here. People are gonna come in a little bit later. Well, because usually I run the pre-intro and go live so that people can get in here. But I didn't do that today because I knew it was already kind of late. Oh, Johnny Hellcat's in the house. What's up? The original viewer of the Morning Night Live. And also thank you. Wait, what is this? Oh, Man Squatch, you have a new Avi on your Twitter account, so I didn't recognize it. Thanks, Man Squatch, for tweeting out the show. Also, Simon Wolfwood, Aquarian Anarch Hotep, and Horses Against Sank for retweeting the show. Hello, Pissed Off Shih Tzu, also. So anyway, the only thing that I have a few things, I have a few tabs open of news already, but I wanted to go through some of the things that are happening in the world right now that they're somewhat trending. Because some of this I don't know about. For example, let's talk about Liz Truss. Apparently, the Conservative Party leadership election. Truss wins Conservative Party leadership election and will be the next UK Prime Minister. Now, I don't know jack about Liz Truss, but there are some. I had to chuckle because the Conservative Party in Great Britain probably would be like conservative Democrats here, I would guess. But I just laugh because you have Liz Truss's Twitter account here, MP for Southwest Norfolk, blah 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 blah. But then you have parody Liz Truss, first ever Tish sock of the Third Reich. Well, that's pleasant. Professional selfie taker, Margaret Thatcher impersonator, passionate about cheese. Then there's another Liz Truss parody, looking for the to number 10. I don't know. But anyway, there are people who congratulate her. John Bolton congratulates Liz Truss on becoming leader of the Conservative Party today and the Queen appointing her Prime Minister tomorrow. The UK needs bold leadership to confront growing challenges, including war in Europe and the China threat. Now, John Bolton, what are you talking about? Morning, Seal. How you doing? Nice to have you here again. Insomnable Nation also. And we wish her the very best. Now, I see John Bolton and I raise an eyebrow because, I'm me, I'm skeptical of the war in Europe, the Russian-Ukraine thing, because I don't think there's any good guys. But apparently there are people there who think that Ukraine is the good guy. All those little blue and yellow flags. Stand with Ukraine. One of the most corrupt nations in the world. Anyway, breaking Liz Truss with. I don't know anything about her. Anyone in the chat know anything about her? I really don't. Britain's new Prime Minister. This is Piers Morgan, voluntarily receiving the biggest hospital pass in modern political history. I don't know what that means. The Defend Assange campaign, the cut and thrust of a free press, even if some people find it offensive, is a vital part of a free country. I would die in a ditch for it. New UK Prime Minister Liz Truss in 2018. And then, let's see. Liz Truss wants to slash taxes for. Oh, now here's one. See, this gets a little bit like American politics. Someone named Sarah Zoltan, who's an MP. Liz Truss wants to slash taxes for the super rich while banning workers, meaning trashing workers' rights. She even says she's against the very idea of wealth redistribution. Really? That's I guess I would vote for her if she's against the idea of wealth redistribution. You don't redistribute wealth. You bring other people up. But, I don't know. But I don't know anything about her, so I can't really comment too much. Boris Johnson's successor as British Prime Minister will be Liz Truss, a low-tax evangelist who models herself on Margaret Thatcher. Okay. Well, if she's as tough and as strong as Margaret Thatcher, I don't think Thatcher was all that bad, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's trending. Also, OPEC is trending. Now, remember when Joe Biden went over, I think he went over to the Sauds, and he was begging the Saudi Arabians to increase their oil production, right? Because, he was getting hammered for these high gas prices. Well, the reason OPEC is trending this morning is, hang on a second. Breaking: OPEC and allied oil-producing countries, including Russia, to cut their supplies to the global economy by 100,000 barrels a day, underlining their unhappiness with crude prices that have sagged because of recession fears. So they're gonna cut production. Breaking: 52 days after President Biden traveled to Saudi Arabia, the kingdom has led OPEC into cutting oil production. Quotas will be reduced by 100,000 barrels per day, and further reductions remain on the table. Now, this is funny. I don't know if you heard the press secretary say that we created 10,000 million jobs, which clearly she misspoke, but that's what she said at one of her press conferences. Well, Zero Hedge here says U.S. should just pump 10,000 million barrels of oil to replace OPEC. Yes, exactly. Silly me. Can you tell I'm not feeling good? You can probably hear my voice, and I'm coughing a lot. I got a cup though here. This is although this is tea instead of coffee day with honey and lemon in it. And oil surged in price after OPEC said it would cut production. Well, let's go, Brandon. Okay, so anyway, that's some news. What else is trending here? Let's just check this Explore tab, then I'll get into a couple articles that I wanted to talk about. Dimension Dawn is trending. Apparently, people, the left, decided to make hashtag Dimension Dawn over Donald Trump's speech over the weekend because he countered Joe Biden's speech. I didn't watch it yet, so I'm not going to comment on it. But anyway, Jason Peters, is he the Cowboys coach? The Cowboys have agreed to terms with the future Hall of Fame. Oh, no, offensive tackle, Jason Peters. Okay, whatever. Anything else? Freddie Mercury's birthday is today. Should I just put that on the screen so you can see what I'm looking at? People are remembering Freddie Mercury on his birthday. Very talented man. Everyone loved Freddie Mercury. Good morning. Why are you so angry? Nice to see you. Rick Cashbringer. Sorry. I am not doing good. And, why is Tylenol trending? Wait a minute. Why is Tylenol trending? Saw Tylenol trending and thought it was poison again. Oh, anyone here remember the old Tylenol scares? They were, when someone was poisoning Tylenol bottles around the country. And so that's why you have all the locking caps and the foil thing on there, so that people couldn't tamper with Tylenol. But anyway, Tylenol appeared to be trending. I was curious that I see false claims about ivermectin be approved quietly for COVID use. I did a little digging. It was approved for use in clinical trials only. We must call out lies and tell you. Okay, I don't know what that has nothing to do with Tylenol. it doesn't. I don't know why Tylenol is trending. To put this in perspective, let's say, oh, I see. People are talking about, say CNN sucks. I see it. People are talking about ivermectin because there's a study that said it was like a 92% lower rate of something, and so they've now approved it for clinical trials again. Okay, and so people are just because the wrong people talked about that particular drug, you can't talk about it without being ridiculed, okay? So this is something related to Tylenol, but I don't know why it's related to Tylenol. People were comparing ivermectin to using Tylenol or something. I don't care. Let's go back. Cyanide. And then let's see, anything else? Chris Pine's trending. I don't care why celebrities trend. Margaret Thatcher's trending, probably because of Liz Truss. Mayday's trending. Tories are trending. A lot of British politics shit is trending. First Lady's trending. Why? Luther Vandross is trending. Folks always debate greatest female singers of all time. Not many greatest male singers of all time debate here. Who are, in your opinion, the top 5 male singers of all times? Pure vocals. Oh, that's a good question. Should we talk about that in the chat? Who are your 5 greatest male singers of all time? Let's see some of the people they mention. Obviously, Luther Vandross is one being mentioned. And he was good. He was a damn good singer. So Luther Vandross, Johnny Gill, Chris Cornell, George Michael, and Michael Jackson. It's impossible to rank them because music is subjective and everyone has different taste. And Prince number 1. Oh, this is interesting. I'm debating if. And my dreams ain't left me. I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to click that. Anthony Vincent is a kick-ass male singer. I don't know who that is. I'm trying to think who I would put in that. Who I'd put in that category. Any answer not Elvis Presley's wrong. No, Elvis Presley was a terrible singer, but he was a great stage performer. Hello, Foxmore. Cher. That's funny. I don't think Elvis Presley was a great vocalist. I think he was a good entertainer. But there were much greater vocalists even in his era. I would say like I think, well, Marvin Gaye maybe. He's really good. Barry White, Tay Sunday, Chocolate Rain. Chocolate Rain. Freddie Mercury's definitely in there, I would say. I'm trying to think of some really amazing rock vocalists. I wouldn't put him in the top 5, but I think Meatloaf was a great singer, but again, his was as much performance as singing. I would put maybe Tony Bennett, but people aren't going to say Tony Bennett because that's too far away. Sinatra, Dean Martin. Dean Martin is an amazing vocalist. Bon Scott, really? Well, as far as a great rock singer, who's the guy that he ended up playing the Phantom of the Opera? He was I can't remember. Was he Sebastian Bach? He was. I can't remember who he was the lead singer of. He was an amazing vocalist, even when he was just singing rock. Roger Daltrey. He was good. 100%. See, you can't even do this. There's too many names to put out there. Holy shit. and especially you almost have to go by genre too. Jackie Wilson was amazing. He was amazing. I even think I even think Steven Tyler from Aerosmith was a great vocalist. But you had to really listen to appreciate it. But anyway, let's get off this topic because I could go for all day on great singers. Let's see. Let's see. What else is on here? Right to Work is trending. Oh, because it's Labor Day. Oh, thank you. CNN Sucks. Thank you for being the first sponsor of the show today. You are, well, no, you're not because it's not super streamlined, but I'll take it anyway. Thanks for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. CNN Sucks says, if you watched the new Lord of the Rings on Amazon. No, and the reason I'm not watching it is I haven't watched or seen any of those movies. And I only got halfway through one of the books when I was a kid, and it just wasn't my thing. Although I bet if I started reading one now, I would find it very interesting. But no, I have not. So I couldn't give you an educated answer on any of it. But I'm gonna guess, from what I'm hearing, it's when they try to wedge in some unnecessary wokeness shit into things, and I don't know if that's what's happening in that show, but I immediately get turned off. So, for example, Lady Boomer and I have been watching the Ridgedale on I think we were watching on Netflix or whatever. Ridgedale, the Archie comics TV show that was on CW or whatever. And there are certain parts of it where you go, man, this is really well written. It's very comic book-esque because they go into absurd directions, but that's what comic books are allowed to do, and they did it within that show. But, I mean, it's just so funny how they make everything about current, everything about woke shit. Like, there has to be like multiple sets of gay characters, and which I don't give a shit, but it's like, that's not what the Archie's comic, they made, well, originally in the early Riverdale, did I say that? What'd I say? Yeah, Riverdale. Because I remember reading Archie comic books when I was a kid in the 70s, right? And Archie and Reggie were always fighting over Veronica and Betty. There was always going back and forth. And in the original, and they made Reggie gay, or did they make Moose gay? They keep making all these characters gay, and it's like, that's not what the comic book was. And I don't care if you put a whole new show on that's about that, but why change characters that I already know? But I don't know. It's weird. Did I say Rivervale or Riverdale? Because it kind of went back and forth in the like fourth or fifth season, because they were doing the alternative universe Rivervale. I mean, it was total comic book writing, though. That's what I liked about it. But sometimes you just wedge in shit that isn't so unnecessary. Let's see. Why is Mother Teresa trending? My Pillow's trending too. Right to work. What's going on with right to work? Let's check this out. Bernie Sanders. This Labor Day, thank unions for weekends, 8-hour workdays, minimum wage, paid overtime, breaks during work, right to strike, child labor laws, workplace safety standards. Now let us grow the trade union movement and win more for workers. Interesting. However, Tom Fitton writes, Happy Labor Day. Unfortunately, only 27 states have right-to-work laws that protect workers from forced union dues and other predations. The unearned income from forced union dues is a key reason why big labor is able to remain America's biggest force for statism. Well, yeah, because they take your dues and then they put it into political campaigns, which are not technically, they're not technically doing that. But I know when I leave UPS and during election seasons, they're out there in the parking lot saying what things that you should be voting for or whatever. Anyway, whatever. Eric Schmidt is for right to work. He is wrong for Missouri. Oh. Anyway, right to work laws are where you have a right to work whether or not you're part of a union or not, or having to pay union dues. That's what, and 27 states do have those laws. Because a lot of times what happens when states pass those laws, a lot of people leave their unions because they're like, I'm not paying these dues. NC, North Carolina is a right to work state. The laws have racist roots. Oh my God. I always laugh when leftists, if they're against something, they will always find a way to make it racist. This person's saying the laws have racist roots, first gaining traction among Southern segregationists. Really? They also serve to keep wages lower for all workers in states where they've been enacted. Okay, so a lot of people are complaining about, and Axios, of course, has written a piece on the lasting impact of right-to-work laws. Let's take a look at this. 27 states have right-to-work laws in place that prevent private sector unions from collecting fees from all members. Well, no. No. They have laws in place that prevent private sector users force you to be a member of the union to be able to work somewhere. Why it matters, unions have mostly adapted to these laws, and their popularity has died down since the 2010s. However, these laws maintain a headwind as union organizing efforts pick up now, labor proponents say. They also serve to keep wages lower for all workers in the states where they've been enacted. Maybe. For decades, the laws have been a way to depress union membership and divert resources away from bargaining, said Robin Clark Bennett, director of the Labor Center at the University of Iowa College of Law. So it's funny because I wonder if I went through this article, would they have a single person speaking in favor of right to work laws? I bet they don't. It's only a small section here, so let's check it out. For decades, the laws have been a way to depress union membership. Well, no. If union membership is a great thing, then people will join the unions. Maybe some people don't think it's a great thing. Some people do. I don't mind being part of the union where I work, but I'm only part of the union because that's where I work, and that's a union shop. But depress union membership? No, and divert resources away from bargaining. Okay, when wages are lowered for union workers, it also means that competing non-union employees are able to pay lower wages, she said. Why would wages be lowered for union workers? That has nothing to do. Oh my God, that's wild. Hello, Septus Wolf. Good morning. She pointed out to research from the Economic Policy Institute that found wages in right-to-work states were 3.1% lower than non-right-to-work states after accounting for differences in the cost of living. Now, were they lower in those states already? What states are you talking about? Another study found that states with these laws see lower political participation than states without them, as well as reduced support for Democratic Party specifically. Well, you're giving me costs and benefits. Missouri voters overwhelmingly voted against the state version of the law in 2018, and no law has passed since. It's become an increasingly unpopular policy, said Elise Gould, an economist at the Economic Policy Institute. Let's see. But here's the one that kills me. Okay, kills me. Zoomed out. The laws have racist roots, first gaining traction among Southern segregationists who feared unions would unite working class whites with blacks, as this piece in Dissent lays out. did their little study. In our glorious fight for civil rights, we must guard against being fooled by false slogans such as right to work. It is the law that robs us of our civil rights and job rights, Martin Luther King said in 1961 about these. You know what else, though? You know what else? That unions also were were very racist too. That, you know, it's like they oh my God. This is funny. This is just funny. Anyway, that's curious. All right, let's get into a couple things that. We'll get into that other thing, the state fair later. But here's one that's happening, just last night in our friendly Canadiaville. 10 dead, 15 injured after stabbing spree in Canada. 2 suspects at large. Oh, that's not good. At least 10 people are dead and 15 more have been hospitalized after 2 men went on a stabbing spree across Saskatchewan, Canada on Sunday. Cops said there's a search for the killers. 2 suspects identified by Canadian police as Damian Sanderson and Miles Sanderson, 31 and 30 respectively, remain at large and were last seen traveling in the Regina area in a black Nissan Rogue, according to the Canadian Royal Mounted Police. Victims were found in 13 separate locations in the central Canadian province of Saskatchewan, largely within the James Smith Cree Nation, a home to a large Indigenous community, and the tiny village of Weldon, northeast of Saskatchewan. The 2 men allegedly targeted some of their victims while others were random. Commanding officer of the Saskatchewan RCMP, Rhonda Blackmore, said it appears that some of the victims have been targeted and some... Okay, that's the same 2 sentences right after each other. Why not... Oh my God. Why not just quote her instead of saying the sentence twice? I hate these writers. Some were targeted, some were random, so to speak. To a motive would be extremely difficult at this point, Blackmore said in a press conference. She said police began receiving first reports of stabbings in the First Nation community before 6 a.m. local time. More and more reports of stabbings came in prominent in the province of Saskatchewan to put out emergency alerts in the James Cree Nation to declare a state of emergency. Police advised local residents to take precautions and consider sheltering in place. According to the alert, the 2 suspects were spotted in Regina, about 200 miles south of where the attacks originated, around noon local time. And they were considered armed and dangerous. Looks like you need some common sense knife reform in Canada. But you know what? This is the land of Justin Trudeau. You know that'll probably happen. Emergency alerts were extended to cover the neighboring provinces of Manitoba and Alberta as well. As well as Saskatchewan by midday. All 3 provinces share a southern border with the U.S. Well, thank you for giving us a geography lesson. Is there anything else here? They just got maps and places with the stabbing. Oh, here we go. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called the stabbings horrific and heartbreaking. Well, you know, I know you're making some gun laws in there too, so maybe just throw some knives in there too. I'm thinking of those who have lost a loved one and of those who are injured, Trudeau said in a post on Twitter Sunday night. We are closely monitoring the situation and urge everyone to follow updates from the local authorities. Thank you to all the brave first responders for their efforts on the ground. So he made an appropriate statement. I shouldn't make fun of him for that, but it's hard. It's Justin Trudeau. So anyway, clearly, Canada needs some common sense knife reform. Let's see. Unions create an unnatural cause and effect in business. Life is a massive black hole that sucks all the happiness out of my body. Sorry, I misspoke. I meant everything is fine, LOL. Ban silverware. Yes, we need to ban silverware. That's terrible. All right, let's see. Another one I opened up today was this. This is what I said on Friday when Biden made that speech Thursday night, and sounds like I'm not the only one thinking this way. Is Joseph Biden preparing to criminalize Trumpism? Remember, I mean, the way he did this, I mean, this is like, I can compare Biden's speech if you want to go to extremes, to Rwanda and the way they were talking about the Tutsis. I don't know. I'm getting kind of nervous when I start hearing that kind of language. Good morning, TC. Nice to have you around. Welcome. So we have met the enemy, and he is us, said Joe Biden in so many words on Thursday night. Cartoonist Walt Kelly modified Commodore Oliver Perry's quote, "We have met the enemy and they are ours," in honor of the first Earth Day. But Biden and the Democrats can't win in November unless they turn us into them. They have to create an enemy and divide Americans into us, the good guys, and them, the bad guys. Anyone who saw Biden's speech would... Wait, did I skip part of this? No, I didn't. Anyone who saw Biden's speech, who listened to its hysterical exaggerations and bitter denunciations of former President Donald Trump and his party, had to have been unnerved by it. Well, except for the Democrats that were cheering him on. We'll get to a couple of those in a minute. Matt Taibbi put it, Biden's handlers, by trying to create a setting for judgment and warning, they overshot the staging and made the white-haired ex-senator look like a vampire set up from the crypt. This is why it matters when Biden describes MAGA Republicans as a threat to the very soul of this country, or as extremism that threatens the very foundation of a republic, representing dangers around us we cannot allow to prevail. It's hard to see how these terms are substantially different from the war on terror constructions. That was a Freudian slip. Like the continued imminent threat of U.S. interest, or, quote, serious and continuing threat to the American people, unquote. Biden sounded like a man preparing followers for an enforcement response to Trumpism itself. And even if it wasn't what he was doing, it's clear many Trump supporters heard things that way. That's the way I heard it. It sounded like he was making the case for rounding up anyone who even shows an inkling of support for the former president. Taibbi points out that it was no accident Biden used the loaded phrase "clear and present danger" in describing Trump and his followers. Biden went out of his way to quote federal judge Michael Luttig in calling the MAGA enemy a clear and present danger. The loaded term traces to a 1919 Supreme Court case in which Oliver Wendell Holmes created a test for judging if speech and or other political activities may be suppressed. The question, Holmes wrote, is whether the words create a clear and present danger that they will bring about the substantial evils that Congress has a right to prevent. Oh, not good. Hello, Street, says Mail. Let's see. This balancing test was invoked to justify restrictions ranging from the ban on passing out anti-war leaflets to bars of membership in the communist organizations. The substantive evil in such case often involved a judgment that groups or individuals posed an active threat to overthrow the state. Not so different from arguing that political movements threaten democracy itself. Which I made a comment this weekend, is it really bad to be considered an enemy of the state? Because the state kind of sucks right now. And, but no, these guys keep talking about democracy. I think they're going to get a big dose of democracy in the midterms. I hope they do. And then I want to hear them complain about voting. Because, as much as they love to use the word democracy, well, what if democracy throws them out on their asses? Then what? Are they going to be anti-democracy if the people vote them out, or vote the Republicans, or even the MAGA Republicans into power? I say bring on a little democracy for these assholes. Anyway, other Democrats in the media water carriers picked up the theme. Atlanta contributor Peter Wehner went on Morning Joe and previewed a line that would appear in Biden's speech, saying Republicans are a dagger pointed at the throat of American democracy. Wow, what do you do with people who are putting a dagger to the throat of your democracy? Do you round them up? Do you put them in camps? Do you execute them? Fascinating. While New York Times writer, excuse me, while New York Times writer Charles Blow said the Republican Party itself is now a threat to our democracy. Kind of like those Tootsie cockroaches, right? The concept of MAGA Republicans is not merely disreputable, deplorable, racist, but an imminent terror threat is suddenly mainstream, at least to Democrats. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre. Here, listen to her.
When the president speaks about guns tomorrow in Wilkes-Barre, is there a new policy he's going to be laying out? What can you tell us about what he's going to say on that issue tomorrow?
I have some preview for you on this. So tomorrow, President Biden will be traveling about his Safer America plan and the simple, basic notion that when it comes to public safety in this nation, the answer isn't to defund the police, it's to fund the police. He will highlight how his plan would invest 100 more cops.
Okay, wait. His plan is not to fund the police, but to fund the police, which obviously is going over well with some on the left. But it's also funny because he's combining this whole MAGA as a clear and present danger to the country and also funding more police. Interesting dichotomy there, right?
For effective, accountable community policing that builds public trust and strengthens public safety. And as part of the American Rescue Plan, you've heard us say this, that the President Biden signed into law last year. We sent $350 billion to local governments to keep.
Can she really not remember any of this? Does she have to write this down and read it right off the book every time? It's always fascinating, but at least she's a little more prepared. At least she was prepared for some sort of question, but still.
Cops on the beat. And in contrast, every Republican in Congress voted against the funding for law enforcement. And Trump also, Donald Trump.
See, because the Republicans, see what they do there? So you have this wide-ranging bill spending billions and trillions of dollars, and that the bill, as a whole sucked. So because Republicans voted against this dumbass bill, she's saying that the Republicans voted against funding for police.
Congress voted against the funding for law enforcement.
It's a lie through context. It's a complete lie. It's not. They were voting against funding for law enforcement. They were voting against a monstrosity of bill, which that probably had 2 lines out of thousands of pages. That's how they do it.
And Donald Trump cut $400 billion from his budget for state and local law enforcement. So the president's going to talk about how he brought the Democrats and Republicans together earlier this month to pass the most significant safety law in 30 years. He'll talk about how we have built on that momentum and how we must act on ban assault weapons. You'll hear that from him as well.
Assault weapons ain't going to do much. Again, what they call assault weapons.
So again, a majority of Americans support this. When we talk about banning assault weapons, the NRA opposes it. And so we are going to hear from the president about the importance of making sure that we protect our communities. The president has been really clear that congressional Republicans, that extreme MAGA agenda that you heard him talk about last week is a threat to the rule of law. He will say that you can't propose defunding the FBI or defund the mob that stormed the Capitol and attacked and assaulted police officers on January 6th and be pro-police. And that's what you're going to hear from the president tomorrow.
Yeah. So does that sound like the rhetorical flourishes, or are they deadly serious about fighting this as a threat to the rule of law, or the threat to democracy and the dagger pointed at the throat of American democracy? The president and all those good little Democrats will tell us, well, we don't really mean all Republicans, just the bad ones who supported Trump and believe in making America great again. But 74 million people voted for Donald Trump in 2020. It's pathetically stupid to believe that all these people are a threat. But Biden needs an enemy, and if the Democrats are able to generate through hysteria enough fear about MAGA extremists, then they may yet hang on to Congress. If that happens, the next 2 years will be a nightmare, and most of the right would prefer not to experience. Well, I don't know if it's working. He got a lot of shit about it and had to backtrack the very next day. But while he backtracked and claimed the next day in an interview someone asked him a question about it, he said, I didn't say all MAGA Republicans, all Donald Trump supporters were terrorists or, whatever, bad people. He backtracked the next day. Now, it very well could be because he can't remember what he said the day before because he doesn't write his own speeches, nor does he handle his own Twitter account. But there are Biden allies and advisors who have absolutely kept the message going. And here's one of them. Top advisor on Biden's speech, demonizing MAGA Republicans, we have to call out hatred. Wow. I always laugh because they're always talking about hatred, but they call out hatred in the most vitriolic, hateful way they can, as if, it's a projection. Former Atlanta mayor and current senior White House advisor Keisha Lance Bottoms said during an interview Sunday morning that President Joe Biden's speech demonizing millions of Americans as extremist threats to the U.S. was needed because the administration believes it has to call out hatred. Now, who is it specifically that the MAGA Republicans hate? Ahead of the president's speech, the White House was insistent the speech would be optimistic and was about bringing people together. Yet in it, Biden said President Trump's MAGA supporters are a danger to democracy. Now, wait a minute. I got to preface this too. People are very, very angry with Martha Raddatz from ABC. Listen to this. So hang on a second. Let me, I'll do this on Twitter because it'll be easier to control the video. But people were very mad at the woman from ABC News, Martha Raddatz, whatever, who was asking questions because, let me see if you can figure out why. Let me see if you can figure out why they were mad at her. Here, let's pause this. Excuse me. Let's make this full screen too, so you can see it. So listen to this line of questioning, and then listen to Keisha Lance Bottoms. I hate her name. It makes me think about cutting somebody's butt off. Anyway.
Biden's senior advisor and the former mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Good morning, Mayor. Ahead of the president's speech, the White House was insistent the speech would be optimistic, was about bringing people together. Yet in it, Biden said President Trump's MAGA supporters are a danger to democracy. How is that a unifying message?
Well, what the president did was that he reminded the American people of who we are as a country. We are a democracy that's been built.
I wish, if I had thought about it, I'd have brought a shot glass down and taking a shot for every time she says the word democracy. But then I would probably be dead on the floor. So I'm kind of glad I didn't. Anyway.
On the rule of law. We are a democracy that values the peaceful transition of power. We are a democracy that values the right of people to go and vote safely and in peace. And so what the president has done as our commander-in-chief is he has reminded us that democracies are fragile. You know this. You've been across the globe. And if we are not intentional about preserving who we are as a country, if we are not intentional about reminding ourselves that there is a rule of law in this country, then we will be in danger. So the president spoke optimistically about who we are as Americans. We are the greatest nation in the world, but also
you know what? It's funny. It's weird to hear her say that. Because most Democrats can't say that. They all of a sudden they're the ones who see America as the greatest country in the world. Since when? Since when do they see it that way? Most people, Democrats on the left, see nothing but our faults. But all of a sudden, oh, democracy, democracy, democracy. And we're the greatest nation in the world. Blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because I know people around the world see this thing going on here, and they're like, wait a minute. They're still talking about that American exceptionalism shit. Which really, American exceptionalism isn't about exceptional as in the best. It's exceptional in that we are the exception to some of the rules that went on in the world, and why a lot of countries have modeled themselves after our Constitution. But it's not that. It is, in my opinion, makes us great, but it's not what exceptionalism means. It means that we were one of the first countries where it didn't matter how you were born, whether or not you could get ahead. There wasn't even though there are class systems, someone from the lowest class could end up being the billionaire, and the billionaire's kids could end up being in the gutter. There was no caste system, or even if it's not a actual caste system, there was no. It didn't function. If you were a plumber, your kid could be a doctor. If you're a doctor, your kid could be a plumber, which is at different points in history is an upgrade either way, right? So anyway, real quick, thank you, Cryptic. I was just going to say you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day who put a big bullet in the tip jar, but then Carnivore Dad, a.k.a. Jimmy Das, beat that out. Cryptic says her comments... Okay. Cryptic says her comments are at the bottom of the barrel, which is norm for a Biden official. When this woman was mayor of Atlanta, it burned like the ass end of a cigarette. What an asinine creature. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta burned, especially around that, which guy was it that got shot near the Wendy's, and then the Wendy's burned and whatever. Yeah, there's plenty of riots and stuff going on there. Also, thank you, Jimmy Dots Hotep, and you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Who says, what got me is him talking about being the people. He has been a politician for 49 years. We the People's Advisory is the government. Our goal is individual freedom, less taxes, etc., all counter to government. Biden's government, not the people. Yeah, oh, exactly. And that was the point I was making too. I mean, when I said, is it really a bad thing to be an enemy to the state if the state sucks? And the idea that Biden was saying, we the people, no. Like, yeah, you're right, Jimmy. Biden's been nothing but government for the last, 50 years now? 45 years in the either House or Senate, and then 8 years as vice president, or not 50 years, like 40 years, and then 8 as vice president. Now 4. Well, he might make it 4 as president. I doubt it. But anyway, and the idea of him being the people, the guy who grew up from Scranton, as if any of that hasn't worn off yet. I don't know. Thank you, Selected Boy, also for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. Dropping a 5 in the YouTube Super Chats, who says, is it me or does she look like John Amos from Good Times? What? No, she doesn't look like John Amos from Good Times. What are you talking about? No. Anyway, let's finish this up because she has a couple more lines here.
Reminder that we have to be intentional about being the greatest nation in the world.
Yeah.
And that we have to call out hatred, we have to call out this violence, and that if we don't, our democracy
could be in danger. So I should look up the some of the people being pissed off about that particular thing. But yeah, and okay, chat. Rashard Brooks, thank you, Avocado Stably. Chat, here's a question. Did you
Biden's senior advisor in the
Did you see that speech by Joseph Rahim Biden as a uplifting, positive speech? Or very dark and ominous and almost scary? I'm just saying. I'm sorry. It was pretty dark and ominous, I thought. Let me see if I can find this. The people were commenting, though, on this because they were very, very angry at Martha Raddatz for her take on this. Let me move this down here. They were very angry. So this is on Twitchy. Twitchy is a funny site. They roast people. So ABC's Martha Raddatz was accused of being a Nazi enabler for her line of questioning. Martha Raddatz at ABC's This Week with former Clinton staffers had the audacity to suggest that President Biden's recent Darth Brandon speech was exactly what he intended it to be. Apparently, it became immediately clear that to the Biden White House that this was a mistake because it's been clean up on aisle 46 ever since. Raddatz guest Keisha Lance Bottoms saw the words of encouragement and optimism in Biden's speech, which I never saw. According to Bottoms, he was calling out to all of us. And, her question, all of us, he wasn't calling out the MAGA supporters who he called a threat to democracy, right? Well, here's how people reacted to that. Raddatz, of course, is stating the plain truth, but liberals were not going to take this lying down. What's wrong with you, Martha Raddatz? Do you seriously want to live in a white nationalist, Christo-fascist, anti-LGBTQ sexist dictatorship? If so, just admit it on air so we understand you clearly. Does Martha Raddatz think that Churchill also engaged in hate speech regarding the original Nazis? Oh, no! Martha Raddatz, if this were you, or if this were 1939, why are you being so mean to the Nazis? Martha Raddatz, if this were 1861, why are you being so mean to the Confederates? Oh! Now, we're sorry, but if you can't distinguish between GOP voters and Nazis or Democrats of the 1860s, you're either being dishonest or missing some gray matter. It appears that Martha Raddatz doesn't tweet often, so this exchange resulted in one of Twitter's most hilarious phenomenon: rage replies in completely unrelated tweets. Here's Raddatz highlighting a truly American story of a former Afghan interpreter making a new life for his family in America. This retweet was not sacred ground for the Biden spittle spewers. So she wrote, "So proud of this family," and this is an Afghan family. Someone replied to that, "So proud of this family," right? Now look what the other replies here. "Just saw your interview with Keisha Lance Bottoms, and it's time for you to step down. You're a disgrace to journalism." Yes, that's right. Asking questions about a president giving a controversial speech is a disgrace to journalism. Looks like an attack for the press. Jim Acosta is conspicuously absent. "You're a pathetic joke. Why are you pro-fascist? Have to wonder if you would have been cheerleading the Nazis of the 1930s. Go work for Fox News where you belong. You don't belong at any real news organization." That's sane. "Martha Raddatz, you are now such an apologist for the GOP-led violent insurrection against the United States." That whole, the media and Democrats, I know that's redundant, have successfully inculcated people with the idea of a violent insurrection. When there was no insurrection. It was not an insurrection. Oh, well, unless every protest that gets out of hand and turns to riots and insurrection. Maybe they think that, but they don't. If you cannot describe what happened on January 20th, 2017, an insurrection, which I've never heard anyone in the left of the aisle do that, and I'm talking about the riots in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, all over the country, actually. There were riots on Trump's inauguration day. Were those insurrections? If they were, then I don't mind you calling January 6th an insurrection. Although the idea that it was an armed attempted coup is a joke. It's a complete, utter joke. Okay? But it's just these people are just so caught up in this rhetoric. Again, Hutus and Tutsis is what it's becoming to them. What the fuck is wrong with you? You really do not know what actual hate speech is? Or do you not really know what actual hate speech is? Raditz is simply joining Chris Lick's CNN and Chuck Todd's NBC and enabling the Fourth Reich in the name of journalistic balance. MSNBC could own the Nazi opposition if they had the wisdom to take a firm stand against all Republicans. Hire back Keith Olbermann. Yeah, please bring back Keith Olbermann. He's not a loon. But speaking of MSNBC, what happened over at MSNBC? Because our old friend Roland Martin was a guest on some show. And I don't know if you're familiar with Roland Martin. If you're not, he's the one who tried to teach Hillary Clinton to dance. He was tap dancing for Hillary. Trying to teach, because us black people got to dance for the white woman, for the white, well, as I say, white man, but, Joe, I am the Democratic Party, gave the most shocking, divisive, hateful, and mendacious speech I've ever heard. And while he's trying to walk back his attack on the American people who do not support him, it's clear that he considers anyone not with him, not just against his policies, but against America. This is a dangerous path to walk, but the left seems intent on plowing down it like it's never been done before. While some people, not of the right, are asking questions like, is Biden trying to criminalize Trumpism? Many on the left are excited to think about the wartime speech Biden gave that condemns tens of millions of American people who voted for his opponent in the last election. Indeed, Roland Martin, former CNN regular, who he's a goofball, man, appeared as a guest on MSNBC and confidently declared that we are at war with these people. Here's Roland Martin talking to whoever this is, Tiffany, what's her name? Listen to this.
I think that's such a crucial point. His followers, Republican, mainstream establishment Republicans, are echoing these calls for violence.
Are we? Who is calling for violence? They keep projecting this, calling for violence. Who gets violent every time something doesn't go their way? The leftists, the ones who think Joseph Rahim Biden is the greatest thing since sliced bread. They just gloss over decades of violence by Democrats, including, and not limited to, before the Civil Rights Movement. They haven't changed. The Democrats have always been the violent ones. Always. But you had one protest that went bad. Oh, and they'll count Charlottesville too, but they'll lie about how that happened. What up, Cannon? How you doing? But here's Roland Martin. Tap dancing for Hillary. I'm sorry. I'm never going to let that go. Here we go. Here's Roland Martin. Maybe. As soon as my computer decides to work again. Come on. Play the role. Play it up. Okay, we're going to sit here and look at her for a second. And them. Okay, what the hell's going on here? Hang on a second. Let's do this. Do I need to refresh the page? What the hell happened? Did they take this down? Please tell me they didn't take this down while I was trying to do this. All right, let's try something. That would be unfortunate. What the heck is going on here? Buffering boomers. Yeah, you know. This doesn't even make any sense. Oh, you know what? Did my internet connection go down? That's supposed to be tomorrow. No, there we go. Okay, here we go. All right, we're back. Let's put this on. Let's see. I'll do it on Twitter. I usually have less trouble when it's on Twitter than going through the websites. Let's do it here. Sorry about that, gang. Here's Roland Martin. He's a funny dude, man. I gotta tell you.
Followers, mainstream establishment Republicans, are echoing these calls for violence, all but threatening it. What was your take?
Echoing calls for violence. Now, she's talking about how Republicans are echoing calls for violence. Now, listen to Roland Martin. Listen to his answer to this.
Well, first of all, I have my red LED lighting since the Republicans are so, oh my God, upset because President Joe Biden, they claim, he looked like he was in Russia. Pastor Charles Jenkins has an intro to his song War, where he says, when the enemy is coming at you, you can't fall down, you can't break down. This means war. That is where we are. We are at war with these people.
Rhetoric.
These folks are evil. They have allowed evil into their house with Donald Trump. He has now dominated the party. This evil is spreading. And when you are in a war footing, you have to respond accordingly. It's about time President Joe Biden decided to get tough. It's about time his advisors stop being weak and stop being impotent and not fighting back. What these people want to do to this country is destroy democracy. They want to rig elections, and so it requires you to stand strong. You don't walk comments back. You don't wilt under the pressure. Republicans and conservatives, they are weak. All they do is whine and complain. Oh my God, he called us semi-fascists. They have called Democrats Marxists. They have called them communists. They have called them socialists. They have called them pedophiles. And all of a sudden, now you get hit, and now you start whining. Well, guess what, Democrats? Guess what, Biden? Guess what, Jamie Harrison, Schumer, Pelosi, and everyone else? You keep hitting. You keep pounding, because this is about the future of our children. I've got 13 nieces and nephews, and I'd be damned if I'm going to leave a country for them run by these crazed, deranged folks who want to impart evil in every facet of our society.
Sounds like the Tootsie Cockroaches. Oh my God. By the way, let's have a little reminder of Roland Martin, what Roland Martin's about. Here's Roland Martin at the end of back in 2016.
Right. That is it for us. I do got to ask you, do you know how to wobble?
Do you know how to wobble? Can I dance for you, Hillary? Because,
I don't.
I hate
you. Know wobble? You just lost.
You know what I hate about this clip? You know what I hate about this clip too?
The black folks on your staff will teach you how to do the wobble.
This is funny because listen to how Hillary talks to Roland Martin instead of a normal. She tries to talk black. Listen to her.
That is it for us. I do got to ask you, do you know how to wobble?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know how to wobble?
What?
I don't.
You know how to wobble? You just lost the black vote right there. Yeah. Karen, the black folks on your staff will teach you how to do the wobble. Trust me.
Can you show me how you do it?
Oh, I can show you how to do it. You're going to pick up some votes, trust me.
But I got to see it in order to know it.
You need some music. I don't really need the music, but I'm just saying.
Okay, who can show me? Come on, don't be shy.
Please, Roland, come tap dance for me.
Black Network, we do a little bit different.
Tap dance for me, Roland. Tap dance for me.
Don't leave me hanging.
Come on, don't leave me hanging. Shut up, Hillary.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, plug this up right now. Y'all know I put it on now. Secretary Clinton It's a pleasure. Thank you so very much. Claflin, thanks you as well. Round of applause, please. Democratic presidential candidate.
Thank you, Roland.
Secretary Hillary Clinton.
And Roland, now, dance for Hillary. Dance for that white woman. Come on, Roland. Come on, Roland. Dance for her.
That's how I told y'all need the music.
Yes, yes, go ahead and dance for her, Roland. You know. Anyway, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, man. Anyway, if Roland Martin is afraid of fascists taking over the country, why is he advocating for the 2A? I don't know. I don't know if he is or not. I haven't seen that. So, yeah. Oh man, easy straights of the mail. But it's almost like, come on, man, how you gonna do that? So anyway, all right. Let's see. The only other thing I had today was in Denver. Was this in Denver? So you know how there are places in the country, if you get your electricity from certain companies, they will give you an incentive to be able to take over your thermostat in high usage times. Well, apparently in Denver, thousands of XL customers were locked out of their thermostats during an energy emergency. 22,000 people lost control of temperatures in their homes for hours on Tuesday. In Denver, during the dog days of summer, it's important to keep your home cool, but when thousands of XL customers in Colorado tried adjusting their thermostats on Tuesday, they learned they had no control over the temperatures in their own homes. The temperatures climbed to the 90s Tuesday, which is why Tony Tarlarico tried to crank up the air conditioning in his partner's Arvada home. I mean, it was 90 out, and it was right during the peak period, Talarico said. It was hot. That's when he saw a message on the thermostat stating the temperature was locked due to an energy emergency. Normally, when we see a message like that, we're able to override it, Talarico said. In this case, we weren't, so our thermostat was locked at 78 or 79. On social media, dozens of XL customers complained of similar experiences, some reporting home temperatures as high as 88 degrees. XL confirmed to Contact Denver 7 that 22,000 customers who had signed up for the Colorado ACO Rewards program were locked out of their smart thermostats for hours on Tuesday. It's a voluntary program. Let's remember that this is something that customers choose to be a part of based on the incentives, said Emmett Romine, Vice President in Customer Service Solutions and Innovations at XL. Customers receive $100 credit for enrolling in the program and $25 annually. Oh, well. That'd do them good. But Romine said customers also agree to give up some control to save energy and money to make the system more reliable. So it helps everybody for people to participate in these programs, unless it's really hot outside. It is a bit uncomfortable in a short period of time, but it's very, very helpful, said Romine. This is the first time in the program's 6-year span that customers could not override their smart thermostats, Romine said. He said the energy emergency was due to an unexpected outage in Pueblo combined with hot weather and heavy air conditioner usage. But Talarico said he had no idea he could be locked out of his thermostat. While he has solar panels and smart thermostat to save energy, he says he did not sign up to have this much control taken away. To me, emergency means there is, life, limb, or, some other danger out there, some, massive wildfires, Talarico said. Even if it's once in a blue moon situation, it just doesn't sit right with us not to be able to control our own thermostat in our house. So there you go. Take a chance, be careful what you sign up for. Look, I could survive in a 80-degree house, but in a 90-degree day, but still, you lose control. The less smart devices, the better. Good point, straight Sith mail. Let's see. Anything else today? I'm gonna call it a day. We have people coming over, and I have to maybe head them off the pass because I don't think I'm gonna be able to hang out with my kids because I don't feel good, and it's probably not a good idea to be sick around the baby. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. if I seem a little melancholy or a little bit slower, that's because I'm just not feeling well. So, but I am here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Hit the like button before you go. Share the stream before, during, after. Put a comment in the comment section if you're watching a replay. And thank you to our sponsors today, which would be CNN Sucks, Cryptic, Jimmy Das, Hotep, and Select a Boy. You are all fantastic people. Thank you for everyone participating in the chat and hanging out. It's really great. And if you're just lurking or you're just watching the replay, I appreciate you too. I hope you all have a great day. You have a great weekend. I hope you have some fun. If you're in the States and you have the day off, I hope you use it well. That's it for me. I got to go. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.